Hello, gorgeous Aries. Welcome to this forecast for 2024. My name is Katerina Barrie. I am going to be conducting your reading tonight. And I'm recording this video as a live stream on my Facebook page, exclusive for my Facebook friends and followers. And I will be also sharing this recording to some other social media outlets as well. This is quite a big undertaking for me, and I'm doing a little bit of a Advent leading up to the new year, and conducting readings for the 12 zodiac signs. So a little bit of something for an introduction. If you are familiar with your entire chart, then whatever Aries placements you have, you can use it for that. If you're a little bit more on a, kind of base level terms with astrology, and you're just interested in your sun sign, which is the sign that you would usually say, like, I'm an Aries. If that's your sign, if that's your sun sign, then this reading is going to be also perfect for you. I'm going to offer a little bit of information about how I do this. I'm a professional psychic. I'm a medicine woman. I'm a channeler. And I've been doing this work for nearly a decade at this point. And I've been practicing my psychic consultations as a mentor and as a coach with clients for about 5 years at this point. And so it is my absolute honor to conduct this reading. Take whatever resonates. Always trust yourself above all else. And most importantly, I do want to make a distinction. We are doing a forecast for 2024. Some things are available for us to know at this time, and there's a plentitude of wisdom and information in the present now moment always. This is the way that I approach my practice, my psychic practice. I do not practice fortune telling. I don't actually believe in it. I have had an experience, many experiences, seeing things before they happen in a way that you can't really change them. That's a different thing for me, the way that I understand it. There are some things that are, in a sense, kind of almost predestined. That's not what we're focusing on. I believe that every human being has a free will, and we have this beautiful gift of being able to co-create our reality with, with awareness and with wisdom and with, this kind of ability to co-create, right? We are, oh, hi, Stacia, it's good to see you. I'm so excited. I'm seeing the comments. That's perfect. But yes, I believe that we actually do get to decide how we want our life to play out. And the idea of fortune telling for me, it just doesn't fit in, I don't believe that anyone can or should have the ability to see your future, because that's for you to decide where you want to take it, right? So with that being considered, I am doing a forecast for the zodiac sign of Aries. If you want to use it for your placements in your chart, that's perfect. If you're just an Aries and that's all you're here for, I love you. Welcome. It's going to be fabulous. I have selected some special decks for my Aries friends, and I'm very excited to dive in. So as we get started, there is going to be a link here on the screen at some point, or whenever you're seeing this. I'm going to talk about this a little bit towards the end. I have this very special offer that's pretty big. It's pricey. It is something that is a year-long commitment. If you like my energy, if you like my readings, if you want to have a personal psychic in your pocket for the rest of the year, maybe I'm your girl. We're going to get into that towards the end. I'm not going to get into it now. I'm excited to get into the readings. So, my Aries friends, welcome. We're going to get started with a couple of tarot cards, which is my specialty. And then we're going to dive into the oracles. I have selected a couple for you. And the couple I had in mind, it just felt like a no. So I made some choices that are aligned with the energy that is present and available. So whenever you're watching this, if it's before or if it's still year 2024, this reading will serve you. This is my intention. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and trust yourself above all else, always. All right. You know what Stacia said? My only Aries is in Chiron. I would consider why this may be relevant right now. Why is this the part of you that you are witnessing? Perhaps this is something to focus on at this time. Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy to see you. It's been a while. So I'm very, makes me a little nervous. Actually recording live, I've been doing it for years, but it's always just the right energy. This is the way that I work with my clients one-on-one. It's always in the moment. It's always all about them. So right now it's all about my Aries friends, whatever your placements are, or if that's something that is your leading sun sign. And it makes me vulnerable. It makes me feel exposed. It makes me feel like I'm on the spot, right? And honestly, that makes me unable to come up with things, right? It's actually great. If I were to do a public speaking presentation, maybe I would want to be more prepared. But when it comes to psychic readings, working with clients on the psychic level, being a channeler, the more I am frazzled consciously, and the more I am focused on the messages coming through, it's actually a good combination. It allows me to do the best that I can to interpret the messages, and at the same time not be so much in my head that I'm making things up, right? So this is how it works for me. I'm very excited as well. So let's dive in. Okay, I'm shuffling, you guys. I'm shuffling my tarot cards. This is, so tarot is my leading modality. I have been practicing tarot readings for nearly a decade. I started with myself. I did quite a few years just learning tarot from other tarot readers, philosophers, witches, psychics, doctors, doctors of science, doctors of philosophy, religion. I've done a lot of research, and there was a point where it became clear that it's time to practice and that I have learned everything I could, and it's time to develop a more personal connection with tarot, and that's what I focused on. And shortly after that, I became reading professionally. I became a professional, rather, psychic reader, and tarot has become a bit of a language for me, honestly. So I'm very excited to share this with you to start. Okay, so my Aries friends, your forecast for 2024, I'm going to pull 5 cards. That's a lot. That number just came to me, and we're going to go with it. So let's dive right in. Oh, Carol is an Aries. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. All right, so we have a King of Cups. It's reversed. I'll set that aside. So just a little preview. King of Cups reversed. there's some rebalancing that you got to start your year with, and it might be a bit challenging. Now, for all of you guys joining in that are other signs, we will have a special little get together for your sign as well. It's just not going to be tonight. And yes, Diana said I'm a Gemini. I'm a Gemini as well, sun sign. So our time is coming. Tonight is all about Aries. If you have any Aries placements, it would be a good time to check. So the second card is the Knight of Wands reversed. So there's a little bit, this is a fire card, okay? So this is your element. Aries is a fire element, fire sign. And I've connected to some special Aries in my life leading up to this event. And you know what? That wasn't planned. It was just like, why don't you do that? I know all the sun signs of all my friends, family, colleagues, everyone. I always ask. I have my own little observation going there as to how they show up in my world. And I've connected to some Aries recently, and there's this desire to have a more of a unified vision. That's what I observed from the people in my life that are close to me that are Aries. There's this desire going into the next year for more unified vision, like more unity, like being able to connect and being able to be heard and to be perceived. Like I'm coming correctly, and I want others to perceive me correctly. That's kind of the energy that I picked up on. So the second card, the Knight of Wands, a little preview, the year is gonna, the start of the year is gonna kind of require you to get back on your horse. All right, we have the Star reversed. So a little preview, spotlighting people, other people, not yourself, spotlighting other people and saying, you're a star, you're a queen, you're gonna go places. And you see that for others. But my friend, it's time for you to see yourself as that star, you know? It's time to acknowledge that, yes, you're capable of giving other people the credit that they may not be getting otherwise. And it's due, like they deserve it, right? But it's about you. It's about you. The reason that you can see their stardom is because you are a star yourself, and you're actually not even realizing that you're illuminating their way. You're saying, hey, you got this. You're a queen. You're a star. You're a king. You're a leader. You're amazing. And you're doing that for others, right? But in the meanwhile, like the reason you're able to see it, and the reason you're kind of surprised that they can't, because they're that, right? You see it. You're like, how do you not see that? You're amazing, right? Well, the irony is, how do you not see that about yourself, though? Because you're telling them. And if you're capable of seeing it, they're just reflecting your light in that moment. So we're going to revisit that. 2 more cards, you guys. 2 more cards. We have the Devil reversed. So far, every card has been reversed. There's a lot of letting go and shedding of things that you're not welcome to carry anymore, any longer, because in this world that you've been creating behind the scenes, maybe even somewhat hidden from your own self, in that new level of you, there is no more room for this. So we have the Devil in reversed. And this speaks a little bit to the darker tendencies. And I'm not talking about like good and evil. We're not going to be talking about duality or harsh contrasts. Like this is bad, this is good. I'm not here to teach you on subjects of morality. I trust that you have your own understanding of who you are, what you do, and what you align with, and what you do not tolerate. That is completely up to you. We're talking about the things that bring you down, okay? This is not a moral comment. This is about the things that take you to dark places. It's about time not to engage with them anymore. And you know what? This is going to be a key turning point for you in the new year as you get started, is not fighting against your so-called demons, not trying to make them into something that they're not, like not trying to see your darkness as like, oh yeah, it's just, you know, it's just misunderstood, you know, it's not explaining things away, it's not indulging things, it's not fighting against these things. It is simply making a decision of, I don't engage with this anymore. This part of me I am aware of. I'm aware of what motivates it. I'm aware of what brings it out. I'm aware of what triggers it. And I'm not going to go around these triggers anymore. I'm not going to cruise the potentialities of being brought into this dark state. And then I have to find my way out. I'm just not going to put myself in these positions anymore. So finally, Aries, for you, the last card, also reversed, we have the 9 of Cups. And this is things that you haven't completed. These things, the best way to release them is to finish them and let them go. If that's something that you're going to be like, oh, why was I so afraid? I mean, I finished it and it's great. Then yes, do it again, right? Just don't procrastinate. But if it's like, you know, I finished it, I didn't want to do it, now I finished it, and now I don't ever want to do it anymore. Great. That was the lesson all along. Don't pick it up, right? But there is unfinished business. And it needs to be finished. And whether it's a never again or that wasn't that as scary as I thought it would be, right? Regardless, the completion is going to be the key. So you guys, what we're going to do is we're going to go over just this little lineup briefly. And I'm going to feel into some of the things that will get you going in 2024. So we have a couple of messages here. The reversal in tarot, all the cards came out reversed. It means completing the cycle, setting yourself free, liberating yourself from whatever it is that's still there. And it doesn't feel like it belongs, right? So Aries, I'm going to get very focused here. If I get a little spaced out, seemingly, or if I pause, just be okay with it. I'm just giving you a little warning because I do want to channel kind of the whole picture. Afterwards, we're going to pull a couple oracle cards and we're going to see some of the more colored in aspects of this painting that we're co-creating together tonight. So let's dive in. So with the King of Cups reversed, this is the card. There we go. With the King of Cups reversed, your message is to accept yourself. You have certain things that have been circling in and out of your life over and over and over again. And there are times where you feel like, am I ever going to end this cycle? And the truth of the matter is, the cycle has ended. It's the fact that you're picking it up again to investigate it that is making it a thing again. You do not necessarily have to find an answer as to where the cycle comes from, who it is from. It could be your parents, it could be society, it could be some person, it could be your past life. Whatever it is that you believe, we're not diving into personal beliefs tonight. I respect all personal beliefs regardless. So whatever you believe, regardless of what you believe, you come and you investigate and you pick it up again, this thing that you don't know where it comes from. Why has it affected you for your entire life? What's the meaning of it? What's the origin? I'm going to give you something that's going to sound very uncomfortable for you, Aries, because I've had conversations with my Aries loved ones, and it has to make you a little uncomfortable because it's against your nature, okay? What's against your nature? Against your nature is just putting it down. You have to find the root cause. You have to find the answer. Not in this case, because whatever it is that you've been struggling with, picking up, revisiting, not being able to fully, completely let go of, you will never understand the origin because it's not even you. You will never, ever, 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 ever. Even if I told you, even if I looked at your lifeline specifically and I told you and I knew you well enough and we were intimate enough for me to tell you, you know what, I think I got who it comes from, you would ask me, but why? Why did they have it? And no matter what I would tell you, you would never understand because you're not that person. Whether it's your lineage or your close proximity or your mentors, whatever, your society, your community, whatever it is, you would never understand why. I could tell you who it came from. You could find out who it came from. You would still never have the answer of why. That is not your question to answer. You have to put this down. You do not need to investigate it anymore. You do not need to find out. You just have to say, you know what, this is not something that's on my radar. I know when I practice this, I know it's not good for me. Something that keeps me kind of in the same pattern, you know, I can tell it's not good for me because I don't feel good. So that's all I need to know. It doesn't make me feel good. It makes me weaker. It makes me more fragile, not in a good way. It makes me feel trapped. So I'm not going to pick it up again. This is not yours to discover. You have a lot of questions from the universe, from your path that you can answer really well. Like you can actually find the answer and it will benefit humanity, it will benefit you. There's so many questions that your inquisitive mind, that your passionate heart, you will uncover the answer, right? But this is not the area you need to be investigating, because every time you investigate this thing that you don't even know where it comes from or who created it or why, and you start looking for answers, you get trapped again. You get into that addictive cycle of like, well, I have to do it in order to understand it, and then maybe I'll find the answer, but the answer never comes. And the only thing that keeps repeating is the pattern. So just drop the pattern. You don't need to know who it came from. You don't need to know why. And you also don't need to resolve it. You just have to disown it. Disown it. Cut it off. Burn it. That is the bridge that you should burn. So, moving on to the reversed Knight of Wands. Now, I'm going to take a little sip of water. My throat is feeling a little... You know, I'm having this, and this is a little bit of something that happens during channeling. For me, when I have like a little bit of a physical effect of what I'm about to talk about. So this is like a little preview. It's like you have everything to say, you have everything to announce, and then when the time comes, it's like you can't even make a sound. There's a little bit of that. There's like there's this nervousness, there's this like, oh, I'm hearing this song by Eminem, which is like, I can't remember the exact words, but it's like he's on the stage and he's about to throw up and it's his only opportunity. And you probably know the song, but it's like, it's that feeling of like, oh my God, that is my only chance. I will blow it. Oh my God, I'm gonna blow it. I'm not gonna blow it. I am gonna blow it. Oh my God, what am I doing here? Like this energy of like, I can't even breathe. You have to treat it like it's a normal situation. Whatever makes you extremely nervous, whatever is it at stake, like whatever is like really at stake, you gotta treat it as casual as you would be like asking a cashier, you know, buying some rolls of toilet paper, like how much is it? Like, you're not gonna prepare to ask that question. You're not gonna be like, oh, I'm about to ask about those toilet rolls, and you know, I know they're $5, but they may be $5.30. Like, ooh, like you're not gonna be like that. You're not gonna get wound up like that. You're gonna be like, it's toilet paper. Like, I know how much it is. Like, I just want to know. Like, maybe I want to give the exact change. Like, it's no big deal. So things that put your fire out, the most important situations, the on the stage placements that you have in your life that are like actually important stuff, you got to get so casual with it. And it's going to take work, Aries friends, because the reason you get choked up is you put these things on such a pedestal that you feel so much below it. But the fact is it's the other way around. You create the pedestal. You put these things on top. And then you put yourself way down. And then you can't even breathe, let alone articulate. Like, your throat just closes up and you're like, I don't know, maybe we should do it another time. I don't know if I can go. I don't even know if I can show up. I can't even pick up the phone. They're calling. I can't even answer. Like, and you know what? It's not even real. You almost create this imbalance by feeling so deeply how significant these topics are for you, which is true. But then you say, I'm trying to articulate this. Then you say, these things are this important. And it's this important that I deliver it correctly. And here am I trying to deliver it. It's not quite like that. It's, here am I trying to see things and seeing things that are this important. And here am I speaking to them because I see them. The reason you have the answers is because you are one of the only very few, maybe possibly even the only one, who can see what is there to be resolved. And you have the solution. You are the solution. So to bring your fire back, you're going to have to eliminate the pedestal that you created. You will have to take the issue that you see and that you know the solution to from the pedestal of like, that's important. And here's my solution. Here's me. You're going to have to put it all on the same level. Here's the problem that I see because I'm me, and I have the answer. Whether it's perfect or not, it is an answer. And I'm going to communicate it with the same casual ease as if I were to ask a cashier how much a bunch of toilet paper rolls are. Like, it has to be casual. You have to get on the same level as the level that you already project with your abilities, with your prowess, with your knowledge, and with your problem-solving skills. Because guess what? if there is a pedestal, and if you don't feel worthy, and if you don't even say what you know, and you can't even speak it because you're so nervous, because you think this thing is above you and you're somewhere below. First of all, that's weakening your trust in yourself, which is it. Everything I know about Aries, that is not good. Your trust in yourself comes before all else. Okay? Just keep that in mind. So you're weakening like your biggest strength, right? And also the problem doesn't get solved. Let's get back to the main issue. Like, if you're never gonna say it, how are they gonna solve it? What if you're the only one who's seeing it? And you might say, oh no, of course I'm not. There must be other people. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you are the only one. Imagine if you are the only one with the solution and you're too afraid to speak because you've put the problem on such a pedestal and it never gets resolved only because you had the solution and you never even articulated it. How sad would that be? I think that would be extremely sad. So to get back on your horse, Aries, you have to destroy the pedestal because you're the only one who's creating it. You're the only one who could put something above yourself. So put it back down to earth, eye level with it, and speak to it like you're asking, how much are these toilet paper rolls? Just a casual thing, okay? Very important message. All right, next. The devil reversed. What is the devil? I think a lot of my Aries friends will be familiar with this concept. Personally, maybe not spiritually, maybe not philosophically, but just on a like life level of, black and white doesn't cut it. Night and day doesn't cut it. Evil and good doesn't cut it. There is like, it's just not how life is. There are shades, there are degrees, there are stages of manifestation. There's so much in between. It's all just a scale. You are very familiar with that through life experience. Again, not maybe philosophically, maybe not spiritually, maybe spiritually. Debatable, but on the life level of living life, you know what I'm talking about. So when I say the devil, a lot of you are going to be asking, like, what do you mean? Like, where on the scale of the devil does this even fall? Like, is it the devil, like the devil, or is it like devil, like Halloween costume maybe? Like, where does this even fall? Like, what is this, right? Well, it more than anything, it represents the aspect of ourselves that is only highlighted when everything else is removed. So all your everything you believe, your moral principles, how you operate in life, what you stand for. Looking for a sip of water. What you stand for, what you represent, like what is your legacy, right? There's that. And then there's like, well, I'm also human. And so there are times and situations and environments where, a lower aspect of me comes out. So when we look at the devil in reverse, one of the most important things to consider here is to get yourself out of that darkness. Because when we are unable to have enough energy to sustain our own light, to, show, like, manifest, like, because I'm not talking about like manifesting things, right? You are manifesting yourself right now. Like, you are like manifesting what you are, like who you know yourself as. If I were to ask you, like, what's your name? And you would say, my name is this and that. Like, the way you would say it and what you would mean by the name that you carry is you manifesting yourself, whoever that is, whatever that is. You are manifesting your entire personality every minute of every day that you are awake. In your sleep, not so much. That's a different topic. We're not getting into it. Not tonight, okay? Because that's a whole another Pandora's box. We're talking about what you're manifesting yourself as in the present, in any given present. So if your present looks like you're in the dark with yourself, and what's coming out are aspects of yourself that you, this is a pretty deep message, and it's going to be more for a select few people than it will be for others listening. There is a few of you that will be like, that is the main reason why I heard it. Like, that is probably the reason why I even came across this, right? For those of you for whom it will be like one of the main messages, you cannot be trying to spend a lot of time with yourself without any other influence or consideration in the dark, in the darkest of depth of yourself, and facing your demons and saying, I don't want to deal with this. Like, I don't want to deal with these demons. I don't want to see these aspects of myself. I hate it. I don't want to, it's almost like you're trapped. Like it's like a haunted house, but it's you, right? You need to move away from being in that space with yourself. You need to let light in. You need to let people in. If you don't believe in therapy, that's fine. Maybe you have some intuitive friends. Maybe you have some friends that are good listeners, or that are almost like a therapist that are not quite, you need to let people in, because spending time in this kind of inner isolation, going into the darkest depth of yourself, and again asking, like, why is this here? Like, what created this? Why is this even part of me? You're not gonna ask it away for it to be not there anymore. The solution here is to love all the aspects of yourself back into wholeness. And in order to do so, you have to step into somewhat of a more neutral territory. And you have to look at many, many, many layers of yourself with compassion. Compassion and acceptance and love. And this may be hard, but it's very important. You have to look at these lower levels of yourself. Like, yeah, that's part of me. I don't understand quite. Maybe not yet. Maybe not ever. That's part of me. That's part of me. That's part of me. That's part of me. I'm part of the universal intelligence. I'm part of the divine consciousness that creates all. I'm eternal as a soul. I'm immortal as a being of light, and yet I'm also mortal as a human, and I'm also human, and I have a body, and I'm living this life the best I can, and I got some really dark parts of me that influence me, and so do these light parts of me that also influence me. I'm this community, and this is where I think this reference is very helpful when you really get into like certain levels of yourself, where maybe it's lower, maybe it's darker, maybe it's like, why am I like this? Why do I always do this? Why do I always say this? Why am I always acting like this? And it's just like more and more and more, like, and then this and then that, and it's just like, it feels like what's good about me, right? You have to bring yourself back to this absolute fact, you guys. This is not psychic. This is not even philosophical. This is biological. Your body is a community that is made up of trillions of independent organisms. They may not be independent by nature, like they have to be part of a tissue, or a muscle or an organ. Like they maybe cannot like be just by themselves, but they are individual, teeny tiny little beings. Every cell in your body is. So you are, like, as a human, a community of trillions of individual cells that are cooperating to make this beautiful miracle of a human that you are exist. So when it gets a little dark and you're confronting aspects of yourself that you may not be able to even reconcile, you have to remind yourself, okay, wait a minute. As a human, I'm a community of trillions of cells. These aspects of me are like an organ or a tissue. It's like my liver or my lungs. Like, yes, it's a part of me, but that's not the whole body. That's not the whole human. That's not the whole picture. So while I'm fighting these inner demons and being like, why am I like this? Why do I always do this? Why do I always say this? Maybe I'm just going back and forth with just one part of me that is simply a piece of the whole. You have to find the whole. You have to realize that these aspects and many, many, many other aspects make the entirety of your being. But if you're only focused on one type of aspect or one type of energy that makes you, it almost makes it hard to love yourself. And loving yourself is the solution to fighting your demons. Because if you love yourself and if you love all these separate aspects of you back into the whole, there's no separation. It's like, it's a whole me. It's all part of me. I love all of me. I am all of me, right? So that's the goal. Okay. I feel like this is getting like more and more philosophical. So we're just going to leave it there. And we're going to go on to these final cards here. The Star reversed, you talking up all the people in your life. And, you know, there's, you know, I'm going to touch on the shadow aspect a little bit. You almost talk people up so much that you I have to be careful with my words here. It's almost like you become jealous of the person that you're talking up. Like, in the process of doing that, it's like, you got this, and you're so smart, and you totally got this, and they're telling you, no, I'm a bad person. No, you're not. You're a great person. I know you. You're amazing. You got so many things going for you. You're like the queen, the king, the you know, you're amazing. Like, you got it. And you're saying this, and it's like there's a part that goes like, I wonder if anyone would ever care to do this for me. It's not even personal. It's not like, oh yeah, well, I wish I was them. It's not. It's like, well, who's going to do that for me? And you know what, Aries? I could bet you another card reading no one really does. No one can do it as well as you do. But no one can do it for you other than yourself. So it's going to sound a little selfish, but you know what? Trust me when I say it's a selfish in a good way. How about you stop talking people up so much? Like, why do you do this? It's almost like you do this because secretly you want someone else to do it for you. Hard truth. But really, like, you're like, yeah, but I want to talk them up because that's how I would want to be treated. That's really great. That's very noble. However, no one really knows you like you know yourself. And some of these people, they may not even appreciate it. They're like, well, I don't believe you. No, don't say that. I'm bad. No, I don't know. You're like, they can't even accept it. I'm giving it to them. I want to have it myself. No one is reciprocating it. And if they are, it's miserable. And I'm talking these people up and they don't even freaking appreciate it. Like they don't even, some of them don't even say thank you. They say F you, maybe not like that, but you know what, close enough. They say, oh no, I'm not that. No, don't say that, you know, blah, blah, blah. They talk themselves out of me really witnessing their best and brightest no matter what. And that's what you have been doing for other people. Well, Aries, it's about time you do this for yourself. And you might have a very strong reaction like, no. The whole purpose of it is like, I'm humble and I talk people up and, you know, I believe in them and sometimes they don't reciprocate. Well, you know, it is what it is. I can't control that, but I talk them up and no, it's not about me. It's about them. It is about you. It is about you. You have to address the deep-seated truth that you actually want that. You want to experience that. You are so deeply desiring for someone to come in and not just, you know, talk you up like for, you know, maybe you're not like the best writer and someone being like, oh, you're the best writer I've ever seen. Like, you don't want lies. You like honesty, you like forwardness, you like directness. You don't want people to come in and compliment you out of their butt and it make no sense to you because you're like, that's not even me. Like, that makes sense. You don't want fake compliments. You don't want fake praise. You don't want that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you secretly wanting what only you can do for them, which is for someone to come in and really see you, no matter how bad it is, no matter how good it is, no matter what's going on. For someone to come in and say, I know you are doing the best you can, and I can see areas in which you are like the absolute pinnacle, and you are like the most gifted in this for real. And these are the areas that, you know, maybe there's, you know, some things happening. We're not going to focus on them. We're going to focus on like what makes you special and how freaking good you are at these things. That's what you do for other people. That's literally what you do for other people. Secretly, you wish for that to happen to you. Not in a fake way, not in some other kind of way, but just the way you do it. For someone to come in and really see you and really hold that vision of your highest like you do for others. You're the only person who can do that for yourself. And you know what? The disappointment you feel when you do this for others and they can't even receive it and they don't appreciate it, like they don't really care. They're like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, I'm just talking about a couple problems. Like, I don't know, I'm not feeling so good. Like, what are you doing, right? You get these responses sometimes and you're like, oh, what would I give? Like, you have to give it to yourself. Pull back from really putting other people up. Pull back. Not like, oh, I don't want to talk to anyone, but like, just stop doing it. Like, stop putting so much energy into it. It's not your job. It's a little controversial, but Aries, it's not your freaking job. Are you getting paid for it? Are you getting paid for it? Because you know what? If you are, then it is your job. No problems there. But you know what? If it isn't your job, then stop. Because they can't appreciate it. They can't fully receive it. The only person who would really appreciate it, who would receive it, who actually monitoring my language. I can be quite expressive sometimes. The only person who would really effing appreciate it is yourself. From yourself. So instead of seeing all these lower aspects and all these areas where you have to change and all the things you have to stop doing or start doing or whatever, why don't you turn that eye that you only use for others? Why don't you turn that on yourself and be like, I'm going to see myself as if I were a person sitting right across from me. And I'm only going to focus on the positive. I'm only going to focus on the talents. I'm only going to focus on the gifts. I'm only going to focus on the light. And you know what? Just do this. Use your phone. Use whatever devices you have. Put on a voice recorder and like tell yourself, if you were a different person, if there was a clone of you and you were witnessing them, and you could only tell them the things that would uplift them and remind them of how incredibly special and gifted they are and how incredibly important their presence is on this earth. Record yourself. Just saying that to yourself. Imagine that you're sitting right across from yourself and don't think about it. Don't hear it. Just say it, right? Record it, then listen to it. This is going to be, if you actually do this, which my Aries friends, and placements may be a little bit different, but if your sun sign is Aries, you might have a big problem with this. I'm not going to skirt around this notion. This might be like a no can do. If you can get past that, this may be the most valuable thing you will ever get out of this reading, out of working with me, and out of all of the content that I put out there. If you can actually just do that, yeah, it could be life-changing. And you don't need to tell me whether it is or not. I don't, you can, but that's not necessary. If you can actually get to just do it, and then you take the results and see what they are, that's enough. Like, I just want you to actually do it. Not personally, not individually invested in it, but spiritually, this is probably the highest message that's going to come through tonight for you. So take it or leave it. No judgment regardless. I don't need to know the results. You can tell me if you want to, but if you can do it, just do it, okay? There's going to be a replay. If you need to go back and re-listen, you can. I'm moving on to the last of the tarot cards, and it's the Nine of Cups. It was also reversed. Completion. There are things that you will never want to do again, and you're afraid that that's actually the case. You've committed to doing this thing every month, or you've committed to helping this person every week, or you've made a commitment. And you've realized, and this is where my sun sign is Gemini, but I can so deeply relate. So deeply relate. It's a little different, but I feel it. I feel it for me in saying this message for you. You've committed to something and you realize, I hate it. Oops. I freaking hate it, right? And so your best case scenario is to either sabotage it, or to avoid it, or to run from it, or to just orchestrate something or pretend it's something. Like, you don't actually want to uncommit. That feels like letting people down. Okay. You have to complete it, which means you have to put an end to it. So either you do this week whatever you promised and you say, okay, that was the last one though. I'm finishing this week and I'm not doing this anymore. Or you don't finish anything and you just go to the person, you say, I'm never going to do this. I hate it. I don't like it. Goodbye. Like, sorry. Just going to be human right now, it's not for me. And, you know, if you want someone to really care about this thing, you would probably need a person who, like, cares, right? That's not gonna be me, because I hate it. So you probably don't want the person doing this who hates it, and I'm the person who hates it, so I'm not putting myself through it, nor you, right? It takes some courage, but you know what, Aries, to be honest with you, like, you're one of the most courageous sun sign. Placement's a little different, but if you know, you know. But sun sign Aries, you're the most courageous people I've ever encountered in my whole entire lifetime. That's men and women. Is like completely regardless of the gender or other genders, whatever, you know, whatever you identify as. Like, I my work is focused on working with women, but I know there's a lot of people watching at different times. Like, these distinctions, they don't really matter to me personally. The only thing that matters to me is that I work with women, because I know that's who I can serve best. That's just my abilities. But this is like a reading for Aries, for all the Aries, right? So as Aries, I've met many people in my life who are sun sign Aries. And you guys, regardless of your gender, where you're from, where you've been, how old you are, like, regardless of all the context, you're the bravest people I've ever met. Like, you can do the scary thing where everyone else will be so afraid they can't even move the finger, and you're the one, like, doing it, especially when you are the only one who can do it. It's almost like when you can feel everyone else's fear, you get that extra courage of, like, I'm gonna be the one. I have to be. That's what I was designed for. You are so freaking brave. So we're not gonna talk about being a coward or being afraid, because that doesn't really apply to Aries, in my humble opinion. So you gotta finish it. Because you know what? The only thing, this unfinished business, and it, you know what? I hate to say it, but for those of you listening, for most of you listening, that's more than one thing. You got things. You got these cups. Do you see that? It's not one, it's a bunch. And they're hanging over you. Unfinished businesses. Not one, several, for most of you. Very few will be like just one thing. Most, like 99%, will be like more than one. Okay. You got to finish it. And you know what? The courage, you're very brave, but the courage that you need is to admit to yourself, like, I don't actually want this. I don't actually want to do it. Because you can't really lie to yourself. And you can't. You can't lie to yourself. So when it comes to the thing and you hate it, you can't bring yourself to do it because you hate it. And you're just honest, right? But it's like your ego, not the ego, like, oh, I'm a very important person. Not that kind of ego. Like the ego that's like, I'm a good person. I don't let people down. I commit to something and I follow through. I choose things and I always go all the way. Like that kind of ego, okay? That kind of ego doesn't want to deal with it. It's like, oh, I hate it. I don't want to think about it. I'll just do it later. Never mind the fact that I don't ever want to do it ever. I'll just do it later. I'll just think about it later. But you know what? You're better than that. And you know what? That kind of righteous aspect of your ego, we all have an ego. We all have an ego. But that righteous aspect of an ego, that's the greatest trap. Because once you come against it, it's like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to face the fact that I hate this thing. I'm just going to pretend that I still love it, and I'm just going to do it tomorrow. And tomorrow never really comes. And so you're letting yourself down even more than other people. You're letting yourself down. You're holding yourself to the standard of like, oh, I'm going to love it one day eventually. But that day never comes. And there's just this feeling of like, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I finish it? Because you have to divorce yourself from it. You have to cut the losses. You have to let these people find someone who will actually love it. Like, you have to let people know that you hate it. You have to tell them, find someone else, because I'm not for the job and I'm not doing it anymore. That's the courage. And you don't lack courage. And you don't really have an arrogant ego, Aries. That's not really channeled. That's my personal experience with Aries in my life, throughout my life. You don't really have an arrogant ego. You can be direct and expressive, untamed, like this bright fire, right? But you don't have the arrogant ego. You have a righteous ego. Your ego says, but I'm the kind of person that always does the thing. So how could I ever abandon the project? Like, your ego is like, I'm a good person. I do good by everyone. I do things most people will not do. Like, that's the kind of ego you have. And so you got to finish it. You just got to cut it off. You got to say, okay, I'm either doing it for the last time, I'm never doing it again, or I'm deciding I'm not doing it ever, not even finishing anything. I'm just not doing it, and I'm going to tell them right now. Or I'm deciding, okay, you know what? Actually, yeah, I do love it. I want to do it. I'm going to complete it. So what's stopping me? And then you have to look, maybe it's perfectionism. Maybe it's like, I'm not good enough. And then you just got to get into a fight. You got to do this like Aries energy forward thing where it's like, you know what? I don't have time for this right now. I got to like put my like going to war clothes on, and whether it's like workout clothes or like a suit, whatever it is, and I gotta go down there and I gotta do the thing. Like, I have there is no more time to think. I gotta just do it, right? So whatever it is, you gotta just finish it. Whether it's finishing it or never finishing it and just saying no, or doing it for the last time and just saying like, okay, that was the last time. I'm not doing this again. But there's, for a lot of you, my friends, there's quite a few of those things hanging over, and you just don't want to face them, and that's okay. But you have to, because you know what? You don't want this SHIT. I'm just being very cautious tonight with my language, because social media has been interesting with those kinds of words. But you gotta let this stuff stay in 2023. Okay. All right. So let's do a couple oracle cards. We've got the Hidden Realm. Okay. This is an interesting oracle. I haven't pulled from it in a long time. And so we're this is a little bit of clearing work that we just got through. So I want to pull a couple messages where we're going to look at what's good, what's exciting in the new year. Like, so we talked about everything you got to leave in 2023. So what's about to come in, right? What's out there? Like, what is this all for, right? What's available? Let's look at that. So we have the Camel Boy. Small steps, asking for help. Might be a little challenging, okay? So what I'm getting here is inviting people to support you. Asking for help is not really the Aries thing. I have to reframe it for it to actually serve you. I know that. It's almost like giving people an opportunity to invest in your mission. It's not really asking for help. It's like, hey, like I'll give you there is a very direct example. It's a simple message. Let's say you're sitting there talking to a person, you've listened to them, you've given them advice, and they love you because like that's what you guys do. Like you're so gifted. You just know how to like really see the truth of someone powerfully. And you see people in their power, like you see people as powerful. Even when they're at their lowest, like that's a superpower that you have. So let's say, you're doing that and the person says, holy smokes, Aries. Like you, God, like no one has seen me this way. What can I do for you? Like you've given me in this conversation more than any person has ever given me. Like what can I do for you? Right? And that's where you don't say, oh, nothing, just, just go away. This is where you say, I do have something going on. Whether it's your brand, your mission, your business, your charity, your community work, your undertaking, your project, whatever it is, just whatever feels right. You trust your intuition. Whatever comes up in the moment, instead of saying, "Oh no, nothing," I just give from the goodness of my heart, which is true. How about you give them an opportunity to be part of your good works on this planet? So tell them. You don't have to go around asking people for help. That's not you. I get it. I know, right? It's not you. Give them an opportunity, though. You can't just be turning people away after you've given to them. Like, oh no, I've given my heart and soul to you, but I shall not receive from you because I'm above that. That's not right. If you're not charging for these services of listening to people and giving them your whole heart and soul and uplifting and supporting them, that's your choice, right? But when they ask you, like, what can I do for you? When you say nothing, you actually rob them of an opportunity to reciprocate what they just received. So in energetic sense, let's say you're selling ice cream and I come up and I say, hey, that ice cream looks freaking delicious. And you give me the ice cream and I eat it right in front of you. I'm like, that's the best ice cream I've ever had. Nom, nom, nom. I finished the ice cream. And then like, how you didn't even tell me how much is it? And you say, I don't charge for my ice cream. I'm going to walk away like, okay. Like, yeah, it's nice to get free ice cream, but it's like, I enjoyed it so much. It almost feels uncomfortable, the fact that I can't even pay for it. Like, I loved it. I wanted to write a great review about it. I wanted to pay you. I wanted to tip you. And you say, your money is no good here. Do you think that makes me enjoy ice cream more? Because honestly, like, it's the opposite. What if you came to me and said, Katerina, like your crown, holy smokes, it's crystals, it's red, I love it, looks kind of fiery, I could totally rock it, like, all right, can I wear your crown? And I'd be like, yeah, there you go. And you'd be like, amazing. Like, can I give you something like of mine? Can I pay for it? And I would be like, there's nothing you could give me that would ever be on par. So you just have the crown and walk away. You may not even accept it. You'd be like, kind of feels like I'm like not on the same level. Like, I love it. I loved it. Why can't I give something to you? Like, are you that above me? Right? So sometimes you may be telling people like, oh, nothing. No, your money's not good here. No, I don't need anything. And you're thinking like you're doing them a favor. You're robbing them. Because for them to receive something from you is an act of courage. Some people can't receive, right? But for you not to receive from them in return, you think it's noble. To them, that may diminish the entire experience of everything you've told them. So that's that. You've got to give people a clear way to reciprocate what you give to them. If they offer you money and that really bugs you, you got to come up with something else. You got to say, okay, well, take me out to dinner, or take me out grocery shopping, or buy me this. You know what? I don't want $50, but I love your art. So if you have a little piece of art that you would want to give to me, then I'd be down, right? Like, you cannot snub people out of exchanging with you. Because to you, that may mean like pure goodness of my heart, but to them, it means like, I'm not good enough for them. Like, they gave me this brilliant thing, they taught me something, or they gave me something, and it's so impactful for me. And now I'm trying to give to them, and they want even like, they're just like, shoo, no. So am I like not good enough for them? Or am I not good enough? Like, it doesn't do what you think it does. And it doesn't do for you what you think it does for you. Because actually, it makes you feel super lonely. I'm sorry, I know this is super personal. But like, that actually makes you feel like no one fucking cares. Okay, there we go, slipped. But yeah, it does. I was trying to be very good with my language. Meaning not saying things that are not social media friendly, but here it goes. But you know what? That's exactly what happens. It's like, I'm not even good enough for you. Well, how come you're helping me? What am I, a charity case to you? And you would hate to feel that way. So you have to allow people to reciprocate. And you know what? If you're not comfortable with what they come up with, that's fine. But you don't tell them nothing. You tell them, not that. Here's what I really want. And you know what? I would say like 99.9% of people that have received something of value from you, which is, I would say, most people in your life, right? They would be fine with that. They would be like, okay, you don't want money. What do you want? Do you want this? Do you want that? Like, because what you give to them, this is the part you have to realize, is actually really valuable to them. When someone says, what can I do for you? They're trying to communicate like, you actually gave me something I truly, deeply value. So you have to honor and respect them wanting to reciprocate it. All right, my friends, I know I'm taking like a very long time with this reading. I have not done these in quite a while, and I did not anticipate what it was going to be. It's very spontaneous, but I'm just going to go with it. And we have one more card. Okay, 2 more cards. All right, 3 more cards. I can't help it. I'm sorry. All right. So these are oracle cards, different oracle cards. These are like a guiding spirit beings. You know, some people think these are beings. Some people think they're like, you know, ascended masters, people who lived before and ascended, whatever it is. And personally, me, I think they're like aspects of our consciousness that we can like identify with almost like an image and a name, like a representation, almost like a symbol, right? Personified, like you can almost put a face on it. You know, if you put those little googly eyes, you know, stickers, you know, they sell them in like stores, I guess, whatever, like little eyes, you know, just, or like draw a little eye on a sticker and take 2 of them and put them on your steering wheel in your car. Your steering wheel is going to start looking like a conscious being to you. Like, it's going to start looking like, it's a smiley face. That's a person, you know? Like, not really, but to your, it's the thing we do with faces. Like, we almost personify things that have eyes, right? We can't help it. That's part of our human consciousness. So when we put these beings and we name them, right? And they have names, and there's almost like an aspect of consciousness that we can channel, tap into, think of, right? And we can identify it with this image or this name, whatever it is. I believe these are aspects of ourselves, of everyone, that can be like distinctly personified into a representation, into like a separate being almost. And it helps. It helps to connect with these messages, right? I need one more sip of water. And then we're diving in. So we have 3 cards here. We have Lady Nada, which is Heart Awakening. Awaken to acceptance and divine love. Give and receive in balance. I think that's the biggest part in the way that it's coming through in this specific reading. I think that is highlighting everything I just talked about with the last message of allowing people to reciprocate and not seeing it as, oh, you know, I'm humble, I'm above this, I just give and I never receive, I'm this giver and not receiver, and, you know, like stepping out of that ego, because that's ego, it's a sneaky ego, because it doesn't seem like an ego, it seems like humility, but it's not, it really isn't. It's a concealed downplaying of your purpose, because, you know, when you give something to someone and you were inspired and you had just the right words, you didn't come up with all of that. Yeah, you got to give some credit to the power. And I'm not gonna, I'm not religious. I don't belong to any religion. I stand by this concept, which is called Know Thyself. That's the name of my company. It's not a destination, by the way. You can never fully know thyself. It's an undertaking. Okay, so that's my beliefs. Everyone else's beliefs, I respect, I honor. I have no issue with anyone else's beliefs. So whatever you believe or don't believe, God, no God, whatever. There's a higher consciousness that operates all of us, and we're all part of it. That no one is excluded, no one is outside of it. If you're a living being, you are part of it, okay? And sometimes that consciousness, it operates through us, very often actually. So when you see a person on the street and you have compassion for them and you have like, oof, I gotta help them out. And then you go over and you're like, wow, you know, I see you in your, you know, some of these things you can't even come up with. You couldn't, you wouldn't. It's coming through you. So you're being like a hand of God. Let's take God out of it. Not everyone likes that word. I get it. You're like the spark of the universe. You are the falling star on that moment that someone else sees and goes like, oh, I gotta make a wish. That's lucky. Like you're someone else's luck. And you didn't come up with it. You were placed there. You saw them. You had the right words in your heart and you spoke them. Yes, it involves you, but it didn't come from you. So when someone else says, I would love to give to you, and that's the same spark that's now operating from them, and they're just trying to reciprocate, and you say, no, I give, I do not receive. That's arrogant, because that disrespects that very spark that ignited your compassion in the first place. And now you're just not letting yourself be part of it. I gave, I did, I got, I said, and now I'm leaving. And it's like, no, but can you be? You were my spark. Can I be your spark now? And it's like, no, I don't need sparks. Goodbye. Like giving and receiving in balance. And that means heart awakening. You have to actually heart awakening, opening your heart. It is extremely freaking painful and scary and vulnerable. And you don't want to feel that. And I hear you. I don't want to feel that either. I relate to that. I will be making these notes in these specific zodiac sign readings because I do relate to all the zodiac signs on some levels. more than others. And then this is a little outside of my channeling, but personally I relate to this. My sun sign is Gemini. It is very intellectual, very deep. I'm a very emotional person, but deep feelings and like the heaviness of them, it's not natural. It doesn't come easy for me. You know, it has to be something that I'm like, okay, I'm diving in. I might drown. Who knows? Like, let's get into it. You know, opening your heart is painful, Aries. And for you to receive, to give you have no problem with. Receive, painful, scary, uncomfortable. That's what opening your heart is. It's these feelings. But that means you're letting someone else in. You're letting them be your spark. Yeah. And that's going to be, if you take a chance on this,